Hey guys, welcome back to Fleetyards. And this is a Fleetyards mission briefing specifically. And during these mission briefings, we look at starships. We look at cool tech. We look at stuff from sci-fi and different franchises and such. Because there's so many out there and there's so many great things to look at. And we like looking at it all because we learn a lot of cool stuff and see some stuff that the other person might not know about, you guys might not know about, and we'd love to just share our thoughts with you. So I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Commander Cockins, and as we know, Stuart loves his sci-fis, but doesn't necessarily go outside the box every other day if he has the chance. So I love bringing these new things to you and getting. That's why we say this is not an information show; it's a first look review because we get Stuart's genuine first impression and fresh renders, if we can, of some great ships so that we see them in details that you've never seen before. And this is one such example. We are looking at the Sabre Plane. Well, it's a name. Should I give you the full name? Because it's quite long. This is the YSS 1000 prototype anti-ship space plane, or just the Saber. And it's from the Halo series, and specifically seen first and last in Halo Reach, because the planet got blown up and they never made any more, because it's a prototype, they think. Yes, this is the space plane, and this is the original game asset, high detail mesh, really excited for this, got the scale, got everything. Stuart, are you a Halo fan? Have you played Halo Reach?
I've played a little bit of Halo, not too much, not really a fan.
So this is
I have not played Halo Reach.
Brand new to you. What do you think, before I go into my spiel?
Well, I gotta say, I saw Halo and I went, "Oh, gee, joy," because some of the Halo stuff I've seen has not been super impressive. This, however, I am super on board with. I love this look. It definitely feels like a modern day fighter kind of look, and I think that's awesome. I mean, there's a few things I change, but overall, I'm very impressed, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it. So
yeah, isn't it just good looking? Like, just a good looking craft.
It is. It is.
So, odd backstory for this one. The Halo games, very, very well known franchise, very well known for lots of different types of gameplay. You know, mostly first person shooter, but a lot of vehicle stuff, both the in air and on the ground in jeeps and such. This was the franchise's first attempt at doing a space combat sequence, and that was very much outside their ballpark. So it was sort of linear, you know, small scale space battle, but it was very fun. That's what people said about it. And this was in 2010, and this was the prequel game about one of the earliest stories of the war, because this is right in the big war between the Covenant and the, us. As this was designed, and there's this great sequence, and we'll see how it was launched in a little bit. So this is the brand new, it's very surprising, unless you were spoiled by the trailers and things. Boom, now you're in space, now you're fighting against the Covenant. Great sequence, great ship, great design, and I was impressed by the design, certainly. It's very clearly something we could build, you know, in the future, like very clearly, whatever. But it's got a great design to it, I think. And a lot of the time, that could just be as simple as how the grooves are placed, how the plates are placed. You know, it's not sleekly, simply smooth, but it's definitely not over grooved or complicated. It's that wonderful in between of like practical feeling, you know. So I'm a big fan of this design, and I'm going to get the model from Reach and see it. You know, because Reach wasn't in 1080p at the time, because Xbox and things had problems rendering. So this is really nice, crisp renders. But Stuart, as we always go straight into next, what do you think about scale, and maybe, you know, scale in comparison to a fighter from other things? Maybe a scale, you know, how's it compared to the Delta Flyer, maybe, or the Runabout, or the Millennium Falcon, as I have some of those examples in the next shot. So what do you think scale-wise? How big and imposing is it?
Looking at the cockpit, you can kind of get a feel for how big a person would be, and I'm not sure if it's a 1 or 2 person cockpit. Something like this is probably 2, yeah. So based on that, I'd say it's a little bit bigger than an X-Wing. Not too much, though. It doesn't seem overly big. Like I said, it looks like a modern-day fighter jet. So I kind of put it on scale with something like, you know, one of the Russian MiGs, the MiG-29s, or an F-14. So not super big, because, you know, the cockpit there kind of gives you a sense of scale. So, but yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah, I think this craft was bulky for its time, because they knew it had to have a lot of power behind the engine, you know. And so next picture there is, and it's actually the size of a Runabout.
Oh wow, that's bigger than I thought.
Yeah, the Runabout has a lot of internal roomage. This doesn't.
Roomage.
So actually, pretty big considering.
Well, yeah, I mean, And the top here, you get a sense. It feels a lot like an F-14 as well. Actually, what it really looks like from the top when you change the perspective like this, it looks like a Gunstar. It's got the two seats in the front. It's got the big engines on the side. It's got roughly the same shape. I mean, if you squint your eyes and go all blurry, it looks like a Gunstar from a distance.
Yeah. just more blocky.
Yeah. But I love the lines on this. I love the shapes. Like if you adapted those engines a little bit, moved them in closer, and then put like a wing out, it could be an awesome modern day military fighter. I think that'd be cool. But there you go. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised how big this was.
Yeah, me too.
Especially considering you can see the human scale of the Viper Mark II from BSG. Very, very small fighter, very, very minimalist, yet a lot of power. And you can see, yep, cockpit fine, and then boom, all of this craft behind it. It always shows how some sci-fi shows focus on advanced technology, like the Star Trek, Type 9 has warp drive, phasers, shields, transporters. Everything is a very small bundle. Even the Raptor, super maneuverable, FTL, other things. And then this thing doesn't have FTL, doesn't have, it still uses projectiles. I'm talking about those in a little bit. Yeah. But the side view perspective always is so important. Even more on par with the Runabout. So quite a thick ship considering. And there's it to your X-Wing comparison.
Well, here it kind of falls apart a little bit for me. It just seems too bulky almost. It seems more like the Raptor from Battlestar Galactica shape-wise. Just the cockpit and stuff. So I'm not a huge fan of it from the side, but like I said, a few little changes and I'd be more on board with it. I do love the overall look of the ship, though. I mean, from most angles, but the side I kind of bugs me a little bit, especially when compared to the Falcon. I mean, if the Falcon has areas where you can stand up and walk around. I mean, this is a fighter, and you did say it had projectiles, so a lot of that's probably projectile storage, missile storage in the main fuselage.
Yes.
And of course, fuel and things. So, not really a big complaint, even when you compare it to the Runabout as far as internal volume goes, because the internal, they have a room in the back of the Runabout, and so it. I mean, it's not super advanced like Star Trek, like you said. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense a little bit, but it's a little bit bulkier than I expected.
But that's okay. That's okay, Mr. Fighter. You're still great despite your bulk. There you go, fix that.
Yes.
But something I thought was worth seeing, the next view, is from the front. Different perspective. Compare it to some classic fighters, and just again give a sense of scale. What do you think there?
Yeah. Again, that's a really cool, aggressive looking ship.
Looks very normal jet though, doesn't it? Looks very sort of modernistic, or even sort of transformer jet, like a little bit, a transformer form. Like it's just a bit more advanced than modern, but still very much that stylistic.
That's a good call on your part, the transformer thing, because that makes me think totally new things seeing this now. I really like the look from the front.
Yeah.
Again, the side, it just doesn't work for me, but the front does, the top does. I mean, it's one of those ships that there's the odd view that just kind of goes...
One of the great side effects of this show is that by seeing other ships in comparison to it, you get contextually changing your opinion on things. Like, obviously, you've now seen a bit of Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Do you now appreciate how advanced the Babylon 5 Gunstar is, given that it has laser guns, it has complete maneuverability, it has the size and how thin it is. It's like, well, that actually feels very efficient compared to it, even though that's, I think, 200 years less advanced. Although again, those numbers are just I think Halo's like 2500s, whatever. I mean, does that mean? But again, the Trek, I mean, that's an advanced shuttle.
Yeah,
it's tiny in comparison. Warp engines, boom. I mean, does it change your perspective from anything else? Do you think? 'Cause it's quite a bulky ship.
It does change my perspective quite a bit. But like we said, it's not as advanced as technologically and time frame wise as Star Trek. So it makes sense to be bigger and bulkier, and it does work. Like as we said before, it's got projectiles and stuff, and needs a place to store those, and so. Those are pretty hefty engines as well, so I'm assuming they use quite a bit of fuel. So fuel tanks, and so, I mean, you compare it to the X-Wing, and it's actually, I mean, I thought it was closer in size to the X-Wing initially, but I mean, it doesn't look so much bigger from the front, really, just bulky.
That's why this view is important. Again, they all just change the feel. That's why, again, the context, very important. So we'll talk about the facts about the ship in a minute, but let's go to the concept sketch, or at least one of the concept sketches. Quite different, but you can see the genesis. What do you think about this in comparison?
This seems more like something that it's coming out of Area 51 from the U.S. military these days. An advanced fighter, and it's got more of the wing tips on the ends, which makes it look more like a normal fighter as opposed to a space fighter. And I don't have a problem with that. This actually looks like a lot of the Gundam type planes and stuff that we see. So, yeah, it's got a very anime vibe to it, and I like it. I'd like to see this one too.
It's also very much like the Peacekeeper Prowler. Has those sorts of more aggressive points. The one we saw, which is much more like fighter plane. But let's go into one of its cool, unique things. The next picture is how it launches.
Oh, cool.
In not a very futuristic way, despite us having slip space, traverse the galaxy. It has to be launched vertically from a hangar.
It's probably like gets shot with magnets like this, the bullet trains and stuff on those rails, I would assume.
Maybe. If you have the next picture, this is their great little view. You can see all the fuel tanks. It's launched like a NASA thing, and they eject, and it's got 7 fuel tanks to launch into space.
See, that's interesting. That brings a whole new level of realism to it for me. I like that a lot. You get it into orbit with these, and then the regular engines take over, so you don't have to burn all that fuel getting out of the atmosphere.
If you're doing dogfights against ships that have energy systems rather than fuel, you need everything you've got. Because once it runs out of fuel, you can't fight, and that is the entire purpose of the ship. And we're in a losing war. You need to take out every enemy fighter you can. The next picture then shows it. I mean, what a NASA shot is that?
Yeah.
But it's great. It's a nice little visual. And the next picture shows it. They did some cool. They tried to make a splash with this the first introduction of space combat. Seeing this great little sort of sequence with it, attached to the hull in a GoPro style, and it was very cool. Very cool.
I like that a lot. Next shot is from the back, and again, just the heft and bulk of these engines. I love this ship. But I do see it more as an in-atmosphere fighter jet. But I like it. I really dig fighter jets. I really like that kind of look. A lot of the Gundam stuff really appeals to me visually, and this really follows that. I just need to fix the outer wings, make them a little bit different, and you can make something that I'd be more enjoyable for me. But I don't know. I think it's very cool.
Yeah, it feels hefty, but you can see where all the heft is.
Yeah,
and that's important. It's not, all its power is up front, and you get that sense. Next picture, reverse shot again. You see the landing legs? Nice bit. Didn't even realize they were there. When I did the renders, didn't even see. Again,
I noticed them on the side view for the size chart. I saw the little landing gear. Yeah.
I've got the next picture though. Another great sort of beauty, and actually does change the feel. I think. Having sort of it being pulled in a bit at the bottom rather than the more flatter top piece. I mean, what do you think about this view?
Well, this one seems a little more spaceship to me than less fighter jet, because of that dimensionality. So, again, this doesn't look as sleek and elegant in this view. It looks a lot more bulky and, well, like I said, more like a spaceship. And so I kind of not really digging this view so much. Kind of loses something for me.
Okay. Too normal?
Yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't have that sleek fighter look from this one, so it kind of...
Well, let me hopefully convert that by telling you some facts about it, because this is a good sort of general view of it. So yeah, it's 2 main engines and wing-mounted thrusters, detachable multi-stage rocket, as you knew, has got shielding of some kind. It's got, I'm not going to read the designation, but it's got 30mm cannons, 2 of them, and missiles. It's got pilot and radar interceptor officer. Launched in
Rio.
Yes, Rio. And launched in 2552, so 26th century.
Cool. So that whole Rio thing really ties it into the fighter thing for me. Like the F-14 has that as well. So very cool. Yeah. I like
it's designed to be similar, but also outdo the Zephyr or Zephyr enemy fighters. Has an afterburn ability, which increases its speed drastically for a short period of time. It's capable of doing special maneuvers. It's designed to cope with doing radical maneuvers to let it get that edge in combat. So it's a high performance vehicle as well. I'm sure all that extra bulk is also armor to keep everything together when you're doing these really interesting things. But let's jump to the next picture. Again, I want to show a cool view of it. Again, very different. Looks more like a face, more like a dinosaur head, ironically. And you can see the two pieces above the nose piece. That's where the cockpit slides out. But sorry, dinosaur.
Yeah, it's very bulky looking here again. And then here it looks like the Raptor from Battlestar Galactica for sure.
Yeah.
In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
And I like it. It does look aggressive. It looks cool. But it's lost that fighter look again from this angle for me. So
now, if you recall, the Firefly from Firefly has engines that do rotate or spin up and down, and that's how they do the multiple, instant turns. And the ship fighter from Babylon 5 has multiple rockets all over the place that then do turns. Do you think it would be better if somehow it was done that the outer two engines would spin? It's kind of like the 09 Star Trek, phaser barrel swaps to allow it to do these hard turns. That'd be even better, do you think? I mean, it's got these, they're designed for the reverse thrust, but if they could spin, then you could turn it and instant other moves. What do you think?
It would add something very interesting to the design. Like I said, if you just took those outer parts, those thrusters and the wingtips, and just rejiggered them a little bit, you could do something really cool with it. And that would be one thing, those Newtonian physics in space kind of thing. And yeah, that would be very interesting. And definitely make it more maneuverable. You turn one up, turn one down, do a barrel roll, a really quick one.
And also the people that are piloting this are the Spartans, who are genetically enhanced soldiers, or at least chemically enhanced soldiers, that are bigger, bulkier, stronger, in exosuits. So they should be able to take a lot of G's. I mean, Master Chief has survived, orbit to ground, falling, hurt a bit, but we walked off as the player. And just to make sure the audience knows where things are, as you can see, there are two little cannons either side of the cockpit, just under. That's the 30mm cannons. If we jump back a picture, you can see where the engines are. So the right-hand engine, go in a bit, there's a plate with a red button-looking thing. That slides/moves and the missiles come out of that bit. So we're directly behind the 30mm cannons.
Interesting, cool.
And so picture 11, we can see the cockpit. Just a little fun thing, and again, some cool shots in the game. Just looks cool, and lots of space actually.
Yeah.
A lot of space for a fighter.
In the next shot, we see its shields, I guess, getting hit and it's close to the hull. I want to play this level now. I mean, I'm really digging this design. That looks really cool in this shot. I love it. It's kind of like a mini Defiant, the way it's kind of bulky.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think Defiant even has fins like that. The little fins, just teeny ones. Yeah, so that's it firing its weapons and being hit by the shields, same as the Spartans. And the next picture, you can see it, a bit more refined image, firing its big missiles.
Oh, wow,
I think it has like a spread of like 6 missiles or 4 missiles, in one big go.
Wow.
Yeah. And the next picture, last picture, is the best view, I think, of the ship. And it's funny, this view tends to be the best for most ships. That top 3/4. It's weird, though. But yeah, I absolutely love this ship. I'm sad I didn't see it more, but I love the backstory of it. It was a prototype, launched as one of the last-ditch things. Literally in the battle, it was one of the last-ditch things that you, the player pilot, got to do. I guess they never made more, or they upgraded to other styles of craft that made more balanced. This feels like a very high-performing, limited in other areas, maybe, sort of craft, but I really dig it. And again, this game asset from 2010 I really like. I think it really works really well. And it's great fun to bring to you guys. So Stuart, your final thoughts on the...
I love it. Like I said, I want to play this part of the game at least. I got to start playing the games, I guess. And
that is good.
As far as design goes, I would love a model of this thing. I would love to.
It's pretty good.
Model this and build it. I think it'd be really cool. But I would like to scratch build some new wings for it and make it from a Halo space fighter into more of a modern day jet fighter. Refine those engines down, those thrusters down, move them closer to the body, put a little bit of wing out there. I think it would be really cool design that way. And just keep everything else the same, just beautiful. So I love this thing. Thank you for introducing me to it, because yet something else I got to see if there's a model of and build and buy and spend money and anyway. But speaking of,
lots of great sci-fi designs out there that I'm bringing to a universe, and now Halo. You're thinking, okay, Halo got some interesting things. Am I turning you, back onto liking Halo? Maybe getting closer.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of money, if you want to help us out and keep producing this show, you can do so by heading over to Trekyards.com. I know this is Fleetyards Mission Briefing, but the website's Trekyards.com because that's our main bulk and butter over there. Or clicking the link down below to the Patreon. It's Patreon/Trekyards again. But go over there, help us on a monthly basis, or visit Trekyards.com to help us as a one-time donation. Click the donate button. It all goes towards producing the show and keeping this awesome new stuff coming to you guys, the discussions, and we love hearing your thoughts and things as well. So you can do that in the comments below and just join us. Help us out if you can, please.
Yeah, Patreon important, website important, subscribe important. It's all important, all of it. But bell notification, remember that on YouTube. Subscribe bell, because only subscribers don't see what we do, but they should.
And like this video, because liking it helps the algorithm and helps us out, helps you out. Makes us feel loved to see all those little thumbs up.
I mean, you've never seen these ships in context before with other ships from other sci-fi shows, so that is worth thumbs up in of itself.
It is.
Come on, guys.
So, until next time, until you click that thumbs up. Until then, I'm Captain Foley, and then after that, I'll be somebody else.
Oh, I'm Commander Cookings, and will always be Commander Cookings. That's me. Bye,
right.
Guys.
All right. Bye.